You're listening to another episode of the Coaster101 podcast. I'm Andrew Stillwell, and we are going to build this podcast today brick by brick. And last time we talked about Legoland Florida. It's been, 100 episodes or so at this point. But we had Nick Weisenberger, and his two children. So it was like kids say the craziest things about Legoland Florida, and I think we might have done another one where they went to Legoland New York. This time, we're going to talk about Legoland Florida again on this episode of the Coaster101 podcast. However, instead of a father and his two children, we have three grown adults who have visited Legoland over the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to bring them in. First off, we've got John Stevenson over in Tennessee. John, welcome back to the podcast.
Glad to be here. It's been a minute.
It has been. I've also got Eric Woolley, who it's been significantly less of a minute. He was on last week's show. So
hey,
welcome back, Eric. Happy day after your birthday.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. You've now revealed when these are being recorded.
Whatever. That's okay. And then after we had his roommate on the podcast 2 weeks ago, to talk
without telling you,
whatever, to talk all things Six Flags Qiddiya City with Scott Schaefer. We've got Shane Joseph down in Orlando. Shane, welcome back to the podcast. We're glad you could grace us with your presence today.
I'm glad I got the invite this week. Thank you.
Did you go to Saudi Arabia?
No.
That does lead to questions about why Hunter didn't invite his roommate to Six Flags Qiddiya. But
I was going to say
he did invite me. I did not want to spend the money.
Oh.
And could not take the time off work. So technically I was invited, but I did not go.
You could have asked him then to invite the rest of us.
Yeah.
Next time.
We're tight with Hunter. Like, we're almost.
Yeah, now maybe we'll all do a group trip.
Yeah.
When the next park opens, we'll go.
All right. Fair enough. Anyway, speaking of things that are open, Legoland Florida, they just opened a brand new roller coaster, the largest investment in Legoland history. It is Galacticoaster. Getting ready to also open in Legoland in California. But
it's open. It opened the weekend that we're recording this. It opened March 6th or something was the opening day.
Okay, so it's open. It's open on both coasts now. It's made by Art Engineering, I believe is the Art Engineering. That's what I remember. And, John and Eric, you guys were down there for Media Day. Shane, you made a first-time visit the weekend after that, I believe, or 2 weekends after, something like that?
Yes, a week after.
So you guys have all had first-time Legoland experiences. So I'll go ahead and I'll just ask, and, somebody volunteer to go first. But, you guys are going to Legoland, right? Again, we have guys in their 20s, 30s, and 40s on this podcast. What are your first impressions about thinking about going to Legoland? Or did you grow up with Legos? Is it a nostalgia thing for you? Where you're like, we got invited to a media day, I have to go get the credit, and that's really why I want to go. Like, Eric, I'll start with you as the, quote unquote elder statesman of the group.
Oh, thanks. Also the person who does not care about going somewhere just for a credit. I mean, yes, of course I grew up with Legos. Who doesn't grow up with Legos? But I'd actually never been to a Legoland. Even the California one I still have not been to. So it was certainly interesting in going to it. And then I think the little bit that I knew about Galacticoaster, and that was like the biggest investment that I think Legoland has ever done kind of thing. That was all an indoor ride, all of that. I was certainly interested in going and checking out that at least, and then exploring the rest seemed fun too.
All right. John, what about you? You were, again, you and Eric had like this Florida magical mystery tour planned out. You guys were going to Epic. You're going to Islands of Adventure. You were able to tack Legoland onto that trip. So what were your thoughts going into Legoland for the first time?
Yeah, we really lucked out that our trip to Epic overlapped with this media event, which we're very fortunate to have been invited to. But I was a Lego kid too. I would say mid-level. I wasn't as big of a fan, but definitely they were an integral part of my childhood. And so Legoland has always been of interest to me, but it hasn't been a priority. And so this seemed like a great reason to go for the first time. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done from top to bottom. And I definitely, it evoked some nostalgia, and I felt very sentimental walking through the park. So it was a fun day. I really enjoyed it.
Nice. And then Shane, you went a couple weeks after the older guys were there, and it was, you're a Central Florida local now. Like you've got
Yes.
this, but this was your first time at Legoland as well.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I've lived here for almost 4 years, and I have never gone. I think it's just like for me, it's just outside. It's about an hour for me, so it's just outside, like a convenient drive to get there. But I'm glad that I have made my first visit because I really enjoyed it. And I was definitely a Lego fan, big Lego fan as a kid, and still now. I have a shelf behind me, and I definitely came out of the park with a few souvenirs. So yes, I'm very happy I got to go.
Wouldn't spend the money to go to Kadia City, but did some damage in the Lego gift shop.
I mean, we're talking.
That's a nice benefit of living like driving distances. Like I couldn't buy any Legos. I was flying back across the country a few days later.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. All right, Galacticoaster. A portmanteau of galactic and coaster for those who are curious. And this is space themed. Anyway,
in case you couldn't piece it together. No pun intended, by the way. Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm just throwing up bricks with the jokes here. It's great.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway, John and Eric, you guys were there for Media Day. Walk us through the new area. I know this coaster, like I said, it's indoors. It's got a launch element. I believe it replaced Flying School, which was their Vekoma family coaster. And like I mentioned earlier, was the largest investment in park history, both East Coast and West Coast. What's going on in this new space-themed area?
Yeah, so this is Lego Galaxy's brand new area, really well manicured, great, beautiful landscaping. And then you get up and you obviously see the Galacticoaster show building, and they have some more theming. There's a gift shop. I mean, it's just a really well done area, and it looks very nice, new. But you can tell that Galacticoaster is the focal point of the area. And when we were there, there was a lot of activity going around. So I'd like to go back when just on an average day, but they had characters walking around, lots of activities for the kids, and so it was a very I think even on an ordinary day, it's a very active, very engaging area, and very colorful, of course. There's some props outside, and so even before you get to the ride entrance or enter the ride, it's just a really well done area. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I know that there's like a Lego sort of play area to go build with Legos out front. The California version seems a little bit bigger. They have a couple flat rides that are now part of the Lego Galaxy area. One of them was for sure a like retheme of a ride that was already there, but the other one I think might be new. And the California version also has their UFO dining options, which I think they say stands for Ultimate Food Outlet, which is like a food court in the area that has a bunch of like kiosks that are space themed. Whereas the Florida one, they had a couple LTO food items that I think we maybe all tried, but those are sort of like a little bit outside the Lego Galaxy land, and I don't know if at some point there will be future food stands actually like in the middle of the land. But it seems a little bit smaller in Florida, but there's a shop, some nice props, and a couple play areas that I think will be part of it forever. Got
it. And this coaster, I'm assuming the queue is highly themed, probably like every other ride at Legoland has, big walls where you can put Legos on the walls and build in the queue. Is there like interactive elements in the queue? I know there's a big interactive portion of the ride that we'll get into in a second, but the queue experience pretty highly themed.
Yeah, I think so. I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think there were any actual building stations in the queue, because a lot of it is virtual building. But I really like the way that the queue is laid out. So the first room that you go in the queue, the first indoor room, is the large pre-show room that you've probably seen pictures or video of, where it has the animatronic of the Lego minifigure, which is actually really cool. I thought it was really impressive how they put together that pre-show.
Okay.
I think if we don't have one up yet, I think we might have a full walkthrough of the queue and pre-show that we will either be posting on YouTube or Instagram or both some point in the near future. As somebody who grew up playing with lots of space Legos, I like that one of the, I think it's like the first hallway that you go through has a bunch of like posters from different eras of space Lego things. So there are ones that, like, I remember as a kid, like M-Tron stuff and like an ice plant one, and was like, oh, these sets are all things that I recognize from being from like when I was a kid playing with these. I assume then there were newer ones that I wasn't as familiar with, but it seemed like there was lots of like attention paid to actually having like actual set like artwork of actual sets from Lego history along the walls before getting into the big pre-show room with the animatronic.
Yeah. Little
They
fan
also have,
service there. on that.
Big fan service. When you walk, the first thing when you walk in the cube, there's like a big like globe with the space logo, and underneath it are like these little displays of classic like Lego space sets through the years, like actually built on display, which is also a cool detail. And that's something I noticed all over Legoland. They really put a lot of detail into like specific Lego things with the history and like specific like sets and part numbers and piece numbers. I think it's really cool that they put so much detail into their own IP. I think that's a great touch. Shows they care.
Yeah, I think there was like one of the Easter eggs is that it's either the building specifically for Galacticoaster is like Spaceport 885, and that comes from something being like the set number of one of the early Lego space sets or something like that. So lots of little details like that.
I love it. Let's talk about this interactive piece, because I know there is people like to, I think you guys talked about it in your review. It's like almost Test Track version 2-esque, right? Where you're able to, without spoiling too much of what's going on here, you build elements of your spacecraft, right? And you do this in the line, you have a touch screen and different options. How in depth are we building here?
So there are different, you kind of walk through piece by piece of oh my gosh, so many pieces, different sections of the ship, and you're able to select kind of a look and feel. So it's still the general shape is the same to an extent, but there are some kind of flares and different color schemes and embellishments, I guess, would be the best way. And so you can select different, a different wing style from a different nose, from a different, all the different parts of the spaceship, and you don't have to pick just one consistent theme. You can pick different ones, which really really bothered me, as Eric can attest, that we were selecting like the unicorn wings and the red whatever nose. Like my OCD was just in like high alert the whole time. But that customization is so cool, and then to be able to see it when you're on the ride is I've never done anything like that before. I haven't been on the new Test Track, unfortunately, but I thought it was the coolest touch, and made the line, just that experience so much better, and made it go by faster too.
Yeah, I think so. An interesting part of it is that you do it in groups of 4, and then I think there are like 4 parts of the ship that you choose. There's like a nose, wings, the tail, and then the accessory or flare or something like that you call. But you do it in a group of 4. So if you have a group of 4 people, easy, no problem. You can like do it together. If you don't have your group of 2 and you're then paired with strangers, I think they even say in like one of the pre-show says something about like make new friends and then work together to do this. So hopefully like there aren't any kids from like different groups who get in big fights about what their spaceships are to look like.
It's like when you ride Smuggler's Run and somebody ends up being an engineer. Like, that's what it looks like.
Somebody who's gonna, we'll see if there's conflict. And I think the other part of it is, so they give you a wristband that's basically like a magic band or a power band, and then you like tap that on the screen where you build your spaceship in. I guess at that point it's the second or third pre-show room, and so then it like links what you designed to wristband, and then when you ride on the road and on the ride, that clearly scans it, and so the ship that you design shows up a couple times at basically the very beginning of the ride, and then it shows up again at the very end of the ride. But like, it's fun that it actually syncs it that way, and you can actually see the thing you built as part of the ride.
What about the ride experience itself? I think John, when you rode, I think you were the one handling the social media. You called it like Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind Light. The seats are 4 across. It's kind of got like not a turntable, but a continuous loading station, almost like a what is it, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey type situation. But what's the ride experience itself? What's that like?
Yeah, it's really well paced. I was surprised. Really tried to not look at any sport. Like, I really avoided knowing much about it. Just research. I mean, I knew the manufacturer, I knew the general premise, but I really tried to keep myself in the dark, literally. And so I was really impressed by the ride. I mean, it's definitely family friendly. It's not nearly as intense as Guardians, but it still has that same kind of space like experience. You're going through and you see the stars and the planets. I almost thought it had more props and more, maybe it's because the show building was smaller, but I almost felt like there were more things to look at than Guardians. I was really, really surprised and really thought that it was a really well done attraction. I definitely would have ridden it several more times to get the full experience and appreciate everything there was to look at.
Yeah. And you said, I mean, it's a family-friendly roller coaster. It looks like it's got a max height accompanied of 36 inches. So, and like most of the other coasters at Legoland, a really good first coaster for some of those younger / shorter enthusiasts out there. Shane, what did you think of the ride?
I was really impressed. This was one of the things we did earlier in the day. So I hadn't had too much to compare it to for the rest of the park. But I just couldn't believe like the quality. It really feels like a resort park quality attraction. This definitely wouldn't be out of place, at Disney or Universal. And I think the Guardians comparison is definitely one that I'm seeing a lot, and it's true. I mean, you have a launch into a indoor building in space, but I was also impressed by how many physical props there were. It was really, really fun. The launch was actually a little punchier than I thought it was going to be for a Legoland coaster. Nothing crazy fast. I compare it to maybe like Penguin Trek at SeaWorld, Slinky Dog Dash maybe, but I just thought the whole presentation, everything with the loading station, it is continuous load. And something I noticed too, the vehicles are 4 across, but for parties of 2, they will only seat you in that vehicle. So if you're a party of 2, it'll just be the 2 of you. Like I was in a group of 2, and then the group of 2 behind us, we were each in our own car of 4. And I think that is because of the wristbands and the customization. Because you will have 2 different designs of your spaceship. But because it's continuous loading, it did not affect the operations at all. And even it was a fairly busy day when I went. It was a weekend. There were some rides that were, 45, 50 minutes. But Galacticoaster, even though it's new, the most popular, stayed around 20 minutes all day. And I think it's because of the continuous load. It's fairly short. It's probably around a minute ride time, but because I was worried with only sitting 2 people in a 4-person vehicle would affect the capacity, but it really didn't. So props to their operations team too. They were really making sure that was always moving.
Shane's got to work on his internet.
I didn't say anything.
No, you
cut off your last words.
You tailed off at the end. That's okay. I'll figure it out. A lot of editing on this one. Oh well. All right,
Shane. That was one of the questions that I think John and I had during the media event, was like how operations would normally be, because it was going much slower during the media event because they were doing video and stuff like that. But I wonder if one, great to hear that the waits were not long. I do wonder if that's like still a unique thing while it's early that they're doing only one party per ride, because I know that there is a single rider line sign at the front.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Ride.
Interesting.
So I'm assuming that means, unless they took it down between the week between when we went and you went.
I probably just didn't notice it.
It is designed for a single rider line, so I assume that if it gets busy, then they would be putting 4 people. I know that, again, somewhere in the pre-show it said like, hey, make new friends and then work on the spaceship together with those other people.
If I had to guess, the single rider probably would skip the design.
It might skip the design section. Yeah,
that's what I would guess.
That's what Test Track would do back in the day.
Yeah.
So it is, but nice to know that the operations were pretty quick, even after.
Yeah, they were fantastic. I was really impressed.
I know that one of the more recent rides in the U.S. that our engineering has done is Primordial at Lagoon. So if any listeners have been to Lagoon, I know that these ride vehicles, and I think even that continuous loading station, are the same as the ones on Primordial. But yeah, it was really fun. It is Guardians of the Galaxy light. I think there were also like things that reminded me of some of the mostly of the like Star Wars version of Space Mountain, with like, oh, there's like some screens on the side that like you can see other spaceships and there are things happening on those. But then there's also like a few physical props that are illuminated in neat neon lighting that really adds to the experience.
I love it.
The seats were comfy too. That was nice.
That is one thing I've noticed with art engineering, and my experience is one ride of theirs, which is Snoopy's Racing Railway at Carowinds. Those seats are roomy. And I mean, I can't speak to the 4 across seating. I mean, Snoopy's Racing Railway very much a 2 across, but you know, as someone who sometimes struggles to fit in a roller coaster car meant for small children, who would do that? I don't know. Crazy. The Snoopy's Racing Railway seats were, I mean, they're huge comparatively. So I'm glad that Galacticoaster seems to fit that as well. Not that you guys have those things to worry about like I do, but anyway, because I like to eat, I want to talk about these limited time food options. I saw a picture of this like chicken sandwich that was like blue and purple. What are we talking about here, guys?
I have the description if you want me to read it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so it's called the Supernova Sandwich. We should have a picture of it up online if you want to look at it. But what it is, it's a crispy chicken sandwich. It says tossed in a purple sweet Thai chili glaze, topped with the sesame, carrot, and red cabbage slaw, and finished with a bold blue roasted garlic mayo. With purple ube ranch dusted fries. So there's a lot of colors going on there, but I thought it was delicious. How about you guys?
So this is another question that I was wondering of, like, how will this be during normal operating days? Because it was one of the crispiest fried chicken sandwiches I've ever had at a theme park. It was like actually really good, and the Thai chili sauce like had a little bit of heat with the sweetness. You know, the blue is food coloring. It is a mayonnaise on a coleslaw, but it was like the sandwich. It was really good, which I was not expecting something particularly good here. And certainly, you know, as theme park fried chicken sandwiches go, it was up there, which I was very impressed by. And so that was where I was curious, like, oh, will this still be good? Not at media day or like on normal operations. We'll also see, like, I think it is listed as being an LTO, how long that limited time is. But yeah, it was really tasty.
I'm just mad you guys went to Legoland and didn't eat apple fries. I mean, I'm just going to have that beef with you forever because I don't foresee you guys going back to Legoland anytime soon.
I need to go back because I missed a couple credits. So maybe next time
go back
I'll get the apple fries.
Shane's an hour drive from it. Yes. I'm more likely to finally gain around to go to the California one, which I assume also has apple fries.
I think so. I think that's like their quote unquote thing. So they're very good. Let's talk about the rest of the park, though. This is a park outside of Galacticoaster, has 3 coaster credits, as you guys mentioned. Coastersaurus, their wooden family coaster, which is a Martin and Flemix. Um, it was down, so you had the Dragon. You also had the Great Lego Race. Let's talk a little bit about the coaster selection at Legoland Florida. I mean, it's again for a lot of enthusiasts, these are models they've been on before, or they have a little bit of difference to them. But what you guys think of the coaster selection at Legoland Florida?
I I was of course sad that Coastersaurus was closed, but that's off season for you. We were there in late February, but I really liked Dragon. I thought it was so cool what they did with that. So that was a coaster that was operating when the park was known as Cypress Gardens. And once Lego bought it and transformed it into Legoland Florida, they added on about 150 feet ish of track, a dark ride section. So to take this standard um, kind of standard family outdoor coaster and then to turn it into this dark ride indoor outdoor coaster, I thought was really cool, very well themed. I mean, the dark ride section was kind of, it wasn't anything crazy. It was no Galacticoaster, but I thought it was really well done. I liked Great Lego Race. I love that model, the Wild Mouse, the large version with the 50-foot drop. We rode that on the way out. They opened it for the media event, and so we walked right on, which was always nice. So I thought it was, now with Galacticoaster especially, I think it really rounds out their lineup, and so I liked it.
Yeah, that's what I felt. I mean, it's been, I think, 5 or 6 years since I was last there. I went down before IAPA in 2019. So, yeah, I guess we're coming up on 7 years since I've been there. I thought the coasters were all, they were fun. They're nothing earth shattering. Like you said, John, I think that dark ride section on Dragon is great. Coaster Source was pretty fun. I did get to ride that one, and Great Lego Race. I feel like at that point they had just started to like phase out the VR back when VR on coasters was the thing. So I'm really glad I didn't have to do that, because VR on coasters was not. I don't know what happened with that trend, but I don't think it was the right thing to do.
You know what's funny? In front of the Great Lego Race, they have a virtual reality booth where it's like the pause that you sit in with the VR goggles. So I wonder if I would assume it's the same like rendering that they had on the actual coaster that now you can ride. It's an upcharge, but they still have it. So if you do want to,
but now it's an upcharge.
Yeah. So if you want the simulator version, not the coaster version, I thought that was funny because I saw it on the map and I was like, there's no way they have this still on the coaster, but they had it out front as a separate almost attraction. So I thought that was funny. I've never seen that.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm seeing it on their website, the Great Lego Race virtual reality experience.
It's like right outside the queue for the actual roller coaster, and it was like 4 VR like seats that I think then have a simulated aspect, and you wear the VR headset.
Huh. All right. What about the some of the other rides? I know, like when I was there, I think the Lego Movie Masters of Flight, the Flying Theater, had just opened, along with that the Splash Battle that's right there. They've got some really good dark rides. Was there anything kind of that stuck out to you guys during your visit?
I appreciate that Splash Battle, having then gone to Epic Universe and riding the one in Isle of Berk. The Lego Splash Battle definitely let you spray water at people who are watching the ride, because John, who is a cold little boy and cannot get wet, the other 2 of us were able to spray him with water while he was trying to film us on the ride, and that was extremely satisfying.
Those splash batters, you get deceptively wet, because the one they just opened at Carowinds, it's the same thing. You can get the people who are watching, but they can get you as well. And again, it was me last year. It was me and my younger brother and my brother's friend. three of us in our 30s. We were the only ones on the boat, and everybody in the area saw that, and we're like, "Oh, we gotta soak them." So I'm hoping, it was, John. I hate you missed out, but it seems like you didn't miss out.
Nope. As much as I wanted to, I was part of the action. So mission accomplished, I guess.
In some ways, that's a nice thing about Fire Drill at Epic is that you can watch it without getting soaked, and you don't get as wet on the ride unless you're
me and you stand
works.
on the end and the other people shoot you.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But did you guys get into like the dark rides, the flying theater, the Ninjago? When I was there, I realized there was a Sally interactive dark ride. I'm looking up the name of it right now.
Oh, yes.
That's the Lego
Lost Kingdom Adventure.
Yeah, Lost Kingdom Adventure.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I was super impressed with that. I had no idea really what it was. I don't think I've been on a similar ride, maybe Boo Blasters, I guess, but that honestly was one of my favorite things at the park. I thought it was really fun. There was so many physical moving pieces and elements. The game was easy. You could tell where you were aiming, which is always appreciated. Pretty much every target would make something happen. So I did ride that, and I was really impressed.
I'm mad at myself because I didn't realize it was there when I was there.
Yeah, it's kind of tucked away. It's kind of in the corner.
I wasn't looking at a map. I was kind of, there's that guy on TikTok who just like goes into a park completely blind and like just rides what he comes to. I never came to this ride, and I was so just blown away that I missed it because I love the, those interactive Sally shooters. But do any of the three of you get on Ninjago with the karate chop action?
Yes, which is a ride also that Legoland worked with Art Engineering on. So that was one that some of their past experience working with art.
That one's insane. I feel like, and because it's like you don't
really
know what
cool.
you're doing. You're just karate chop. Nobody can see what I'm doing on the video because we're audio only. But I'm physically karate chopping right now.
Similar to Web Slingers at Disney California Adventure, is very tiring and hard to know. Harder to know what you're doing than on Web Slingers. Slightly older video technology, but very exhausting.
It is. You think it's designed to just tire kids out?
Maybe. It's also Ninjago is a Lego property that I know nothing about, so it was extra confusing to me as to what was going on.
True. Eric, what was the name of the ride that you all rode with the pedal, the bicycle?
Oh yeah. Technocycle, I think. Which is a flat ride. A flat ride where as you pedal it, your little ride, it's like 6 spinning vehicles going around a central pillar, and as you pedal, you go up, and if you stop pedaling, then your ride vehicle goes down. And
that is the one designed to wear the kids out.
It was very tiring, also as an adult, and hard as an adult to actually keep your feet on the pedals because they were very floppy, loose pedals, and so it was easy to hit your shins against things on it.
Fair.
It was overall
pretty fun though.
Mix. Yeah, just very eclectic mix of rides, and really, I mean, the flying theater was, that was the first non-Soarin' flying theater I've been on, so my expectations were higher than they should have been, but still fun. It's just a really unique set of rides that the park has, so I was definitely pleasantly surprised, and I guess I tried to go in blind as well to the whole park because I followed it pretty closely when because it was a fascinating story of how it was Cypress Gardens and it closed for 2 years and became Legoland. So I
did you guys walk through the gardens?
No, it closed.
No, the
gardens
closed
early.
Yeah, they closed early, so we did not have time to walk through them. I think that you did, Shane.
Yeah, it was really cool. I didn't really know anything at all about Cypress Gardens. I knew it existed before then, but I didn't know much else. And I'm glad I went in there because it was really it's literally just like hiking trails through a botanical garden in a theme park, which was really cool.
It's such an interesting juxtaposition. You have these peaceful gardens, then you have the crazy high energy kids running around Legoland right next to it. It's probably really nice for the parents who need to get away and just have some peace and quiet.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. Underrated, I think. If you go, definitely next time, check it out. They also have, not in the gardens, but they have a Zamperla disco at the park also. That was really good. That was one of the highlights for me.
There you go. Did anybody ride, what's the thing? The Aqua Zone wave racers? That's like a whip in the
No,
water.
I looked at it, but then I saw that people watching on the sidelines can press a button and drench you. So I did not. I did not ride that, but it looked really fun.
I think that was one that maybe closed. There were some things that closed early when we were there because of the media event, and so I think that may have been one that also closed early that we did not have time to get on.
Got it. What about Miniland? That's one thing I remember walking through Miniland and just how impressive it was. I think all of the Lego master builders are masters of their craft, for lack of a better term. But there's some insane builds, not only in Miniland, but the rest of the park as well. But what do you guys think of Miniland?
I could have stayed in Miniland for a whole day.
Me too.
There is so much to look at, and especially on a hot day, which it wasn't hot when we were there. But that shade just has to be, that is an attraction in itself. But I love a model. I love like train layout, any kind of mini anything. I'm all over it, and I really enjoy just walking around and appreciating the craft and how detailed it was for Legos. I definitely could have spent a few hours there. It was so cool.
Do they still have like Daytona International Speedway and then Kennedy Space Center?
Yep.
That's awesome.
And that was cool. They had like uniquely Florida things, which I thought was a cool touch.
I also appreciate that there are lots of like little interactive buttons that you can press that make, a fountain start or something like that.
Usually it gets you wet, but yeah.
I
really?
I did not see it. I did not get. I pressed every button that I saw on Miniland and did not get wet.
Oh well, then maybe I was in the wrong place at the wrong time because for some reason I pressed everyone and got wet every time. But I thought it was great. I didn't really know what to expect. I knew that I guess there were models that were built and were outside, but I had no idea of the scale that it was, like both in land and in height. I could not believe it. And same, I could have stayed there all day. It's just so impressive. And there's so many like little details. And apparently it did not used to be shaded, which I can't imagine. So I think the shade is fairly new. So that I think was much appreciated. I saw a lot of people hanging out there and just kind of enjoying all the models. So that's definitely, I think, worth the trip alone just to see that.
I need a more frequent Legoland goer to answer this question, because it's like there's so many, like all of these models in Miniland, and then all of the like play areas where you can build Legos that are big bins of Legos to play with. Again, there's one outside Galacticoaster. If because there's so much for kids to do that is not being on a ride, if the like wait times for the rides tend to be relatively low compared to similar family-friendly theme parks, just because like, the kids want to go play Legos instead of waiting in line for Galacticoaster or something.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. I've never really thought about it, but that would make a ton of sense, especially, there's like the Imagination Station, I think is called, where it's just nothing but, I think you can build like a Lego car. There's the Lego Ferrari experience, Shane, which I think you did.
Oh, yes. I got to talk about that. That was so fun. I just kind of walked in because I knew that it was there and I was walking by. But it was like one of the most fun things I did all day. It's basically, well, first of all, when you walk in, they have an enormous life-sized Ferrari, like with working like doors and like real wheels.
Built out of Legos, right?
Built out of Legos. Yep. Which was super cool. And then the inside, there's all sorts of like exhibits and tests. So you literally, all they give you is the base with wheels on it. And then you can design whatever car you want. And then there are interactive like races. There's like a big ramp that you can drop it down. There's like a twisty one. There's one where you jump a ramp through a tire. But I was surprised that the tech that was in there, like they have instant replays on a lot of the stuff where they have like a little camera where your car goes. And then at the end, there's a virtual like raceway. So you take the car that you built, you put it into this scanner, and then your actual model like appears in like a 3D version on the virtual game. So I spent a good amount of time in there. I actually thought it was really fun.
Eric and John, I know you guys were there for the media day. Shane, were you there? Did you make it basically a whole day at this park?
Yes, which I didn't expect. The hours at Legoland are fairly short. I think the day we were there, it was 10 to 6. I think weekdays are 10 to 5. And I was like, okay, we'll go in the morning. We'll ride a couple things and then leave. But we stayed until the end, which I didn't expect. But it's all this little stuff like, Cypress Gardens and the Miniland and all these interactive exhibits. We didn't see any of the shows, but I know they've got a few shows there. So I was very surprised that we did end up making a full day out of it. So I was definitely pleasantly surprised about the amount of stuff. Being an adult at Legoland,
Right.
I was impressed by like the ability to fairly easily fill up a whole day there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely could have spent some more time there. I think easily, just to. And granted, a lot of the time, a good chunk of it was spent at Galacticoaster, but it was definitely more there than I was anticipating that a mildly grown adult could enjoy.
Mildly grown adults should be like the tagline of Coaster101.com.
Technically adults.
On the subject of mildly grown adults, I know we talked about it before the podcast, but we're going to talk about it now. We're going to address the daddy pig elephant in the room. Right next door to Legoland Florida, there is I believe a separate ticketed gate. It is Peppa Pig theme park. It has got a Zamperla family mini launch coaster. I don't know the exact name. Adam, Sandy, if you're listening, I apologize. But it's Daddy Pig roller coaster. It's a junior coaster with a launch. None of you went next door to ride this coaster.
No, the park was very nice and gave us admission, and they offered a ticket to Peppa Pig theme park. I did not accept. We are all adults, and the difference between Legoland and Peppa Pig theme park is Peppa Pig theme park is for a like exclusively young, I would say like 0 to 5 range. So I did not get that credit. For me, I chose to skip that one. But for much younger kids, that would be a great first coaster.
It's got a launch. Like, come on, guys. Like,
I know. I don't know.
I'm going back.
Maybe when I have
Florida,
kids one day.
I'm going back to get the Stardust Racers credit. Am I tempted to drive back to Winter Haven to get the missed credits as well? Yes, I am.
Let me know when you go. I'll go with you because I got to get on Galacticoaster and I got to get on. I mean, I couldn't make it work this last time, but let me know when you go. I'll go with you.
Maybe we'll do our next meetup.
I'm watching a POV of Daddy Pig's roller coaster. I know nothing about this franchise because I am a mildly grown adult, but it's a cool concept. A little tire boost launch halfway through. I mean, that's a great way to, get yourself ready for Velocicoaster.
We got to get you putting the apostrophe S in the right place on this ride name.
I know.
I would say, John, it is more fitting for the ride that just opened to say it's a good way to get prepared for the tire-propelled launch and tire-propelled boost on Galacticoaster.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you could just go ride Galacticoaster if you are above the age of 5.
Or 36 inches tall. I mean, I think you also have to be 36 on Daddy Pig, too. So it's like 36 inches one way, 36 inches another way. Pick your poison, right?
I guess.
All right, before we wrap this up, let me I want to get all three of your opinions. What was your favorite part? It doesn't necessarily have to be a ride, it could be an experience, could be a model, could be anything. What is your favorite aspect of Legoland Florida?
Are we putting the asterisk of besides Galacticoaster?
You don't have to. I mean,
we might all say the same thing, but yeah, Galacticoaster was pretty easily my favorite. I mean, it is we haven't said it explicitly, but like if you've never been, these are very much family friendly parks, right? There are no big thrill rides at any of these. It's like a wild mouse, a like fun but mildly tame roller coaster and dragon. Then Coaster are similar, and like fun but small wooden coaster. I assume haven't been on. I assume it's fun. And like Galacticoaster is at a level beyond these, both in terms of like how like exciting it is with like the launch and the kind of twists and turns it has in it, but just the amount of special effect going into it, right? This feels like a Disney or Universal ride more than it feels like a family ride at a regional theme park. And so it's one of those things that like really I'd hope that any adult who likes roller coasters should go here just to ride Galacticoaster now if they find themselves in Central Florida or Southern California, which I think none of the other rides I would be like, oh yeah, you definitely have to go to Legoland to ride these things.
Well, listen, the Legoland in Germany has a mini B&M wing coaster with 2 inversions, so you never know what's going to show up.
And Shanghai, I think, has the B&M family invert.
I didn't
Somewhere
realize
has that.
I didn't realize until about 30 seconds ago how many Legolands there are in the world.
There's a ton.
I wonder if there's
many.
anyone who's been to all of them.
I want to get to the one in New York because they've got that dark ride, the Lego Factory Adventure.
Yeah.
Where they transform you and like take a reading of your face and turn you into a Lego brick. I remember that being kind of debuted at that one IAPA that I was at, and I was like, this is so cool. And I still haven't made it up to Goshen, I think is the city where it is in New York. So I want to get to more of these parks. Again, I've been to the Florida one, haven't been to any of the other ones domestically, or definitely not outside of the country. So, we got a checklist to cross off, guys.
Yeah, I would like to go now that I've been. I think Miniland was my favorite, other than Galacticoaster, part of the day. So I want to see what that is at the other parks, because I think they're all different, or at least have some sections that are different. So I want to see what all the other parks have built.
I'm looking at Shanghai's right now. It's crazy. I mean, I had no idea these were there were so many and this caliber of them. Anyway, I would say I'm a huge fan of adaptive reuse in general. And so to build this park out of it's kind of dated, not the best amusement park that was there before it, and the gardens, it was really, you're walking through some areas that are very much more, there's some areas where it is more of a modern theme park, but then you get into these other areas where the trees are larger, there's a lot of shade. And so it was really, you could tell this park was kind of built into this existing infrastructure, this existing layout of this park that preceded it. And that's what I really liked outside of the rides, just walking through, and you felt like you're in this older park, but it's Legoland, and it's only, which I guess now it's been operating for 15 years, which is crazy, but it was that mix of old and new. And we didn't even get to go into the gardens. And that's one thing that really I want to go back and experience. So that, I think in general, that was my takeaway, was just how well the park was kind of incorporated into this existing space and the landscaping. And they've really done a great job of maintaining that. And that's something I don't think the other Legoland parks can say they have. So that's really what stuck with me for a very short time there.
Did Shane just quit on us?
I'm going to assume that somehow Shane's internet has died again.
That
All
is
right.
usually the reaction.
Yes.
After
Wow.
I start rambling.
John goes on about adaptive reuse, and Shane's like, I've had enough. I quit. Crazy.
I'm out.
Maybe he got mad at John slagging off other Legolands despite the fact he's never been to another Legoland.
Listen, this Shanghai one, there's a lot in Shanghai that I want to do Disney, and so I'm definitely might have to make a side trip to this Legoland. I'm watching this B&M invert. It's like a giant Lego man, and it's like climb. Oh, that's okay. I take that back. My favorite thing about Legoland, and I'm sure this is the case for all of them, but it's how the workers wave. They wave with their hands cupped to look like little Lego figurines. I thought when we first saw, I was like, do they have an invisible cut? Okay, got it. It's like that little touch is really cool, and I'm sure kids like it too.
I will say, actually, the Lego meet and greet characters, which at least according to their websites are posted, is like the Galaxyland will have aliens and spacemen meet and greet. Mm-hmm. Like, it's kind of fun that the meet and greet is you meet a Lego figure, basically.
It was great. I saw it in the Galaxy area. It looked really fun.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up this conversation on Legoland. It lasted a little bit longer than the conversation I had with Nick and his kids all those months ago, where they were, I think Henry, his son, like took a pair of headphones and was like swinging around like a lasso, and he popped Nick in the face. So nobody's been injured on this episode of the Coaster 101 podcast, which is great.
Oh, I have one thing that we glossed over.
Go ahead.
While we were talking about the chicken sandwich. There's also a Cookies and Cosmos sundae, which is very good. It has blue cookies and cream ice cream, frozen bananas, which I took those out because I'm weird with apples and fruit and things like that. I like them. I'm a purist when it comes to fresh fruit. But anyway, yeah, the chocolate sauce, the cookie crumbs, and it had these like pearl, like little sprinkle things. It highly recommend. I'm sure it goes. I'm a vegetarian, but I'm sure it goes very well with the chicken sandwich.
Still not apple fries, but that's okay, guys. It's
no
fries. Yeah, I said my piece. No pun intended.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Coaster 101 podcast. I think by this point, if there's not a review on the site, there should be.
There's definitely a review from our media event, and then we should have a second article, I think, coming out before this episode posts with a little more inside Galacticoaster info from some interviews we did down at the media event.
Man, look at you guys hustling, getting interviews. Love it. Creating content for the site. So head to coaster101.com. Check those out. Also follow us on social media. Today is actually the start of our Park Mania annual bracket challenge. It's the 10th edition. So head to coaster101.com and our socials to check that out. Also, if you're listening, make sure you're liking, rating, reviewing, subscribing, leaving 5-star reviews on Spotify, writing 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. And, if for nothing else, it really helps people find the show, helps get our listeners up, which is always a good thing. So if you want us to keep doing it, take 2 seconds, click the 5-star button on Spotify, click the 5-star button on Apple Podcast. Head to coaster101.com/merch for the latest and greatest theme park inspired Coaster 101 merchandise. And last but certainly not least, a huge shout out to Justin Mabry of JM Entertainment, who does our theme music. And our new theme song, I don't know if you guys have been listening to the podcast, our new theme song is a bit of a banger. So shout out to Justin and team for that. But yeah, like I mentioned, Eric, John, Shane, thank you guys for coming on, and we'll do this again soon.
Cool. Thanks, Andrew.
Yes, please. Yes.
And we will talk to you all soon. See ya.
Bye.